Good morning. It's a Saturday morning and I'm going to be out here working in the shop. It's been a minute since I've had you out here, so let me update you real quick on where things are at. I'm still working on the Land Cruiser. I'm still fiddling with the new Weber carb. I ended up putting in a high altitude jet kit. We're sitting at about 5,000 feet above sea level here. So I think that was part of the issue that I was having with it. So I put in a high elevation jet kit, and I think I've got it pretty close. It's still not quite right from what I can tell just idling here, but I think I've got it really close. I went through a whole ordeal with the timing, checking the timing. It was off, trying to figure out what was going on. Turned out that the stud or the bolt that held the clamp, the bolt that would tighten down the clamp for the distributor actually was cracked. It had gotten tweaked and cracked, so it wouldn't tighten down all the way, and so the timing kept shifting on me, and that took way too long to figure out. But I finally did figure out that that was the issue. Got a new bolt, got that all taken care of, and so timing is set. The carb is really close. I think we're really close there. As I was going through that process, I suddenly discovered a huge oil drip underneath the transfer case and found out that the rear output of the transfer case was leaking. I don't know if that's a recent thing or if it's been leaking for a while and I just haven't noticed it because I've had it on dirt and not parked on cement like this. I'm not sure. Anyways, that needed addressing too. So where I'm at right now is I've got that all tore apart. Let me show you here. So I've got that all tore apart and got the case off. I bought a case from Valley Hybrids that has a dual lip seal that goes on there that's supposed to help with that issue. There you can see the oil drip that I'm trying to clean up. That's the speedo cable hanging down, and then also the parking brake. So this output on these old FJs have the emergency brake, or the parking brake is on the output of the transfer case, and the drive line bolts to that. So I've got that all tore apart. I've got the seal kit to do that, and I've got the parts soaking in the parts cleaning bin. I got all that pulled off last night, stuck them in there to kind of soak overnight. Hopefully get those all cleaned up. So I'm waiting for brake shoes. I got in there and realized that the old brake shoes had been soaked in oil for such a long time. I think they've got okay material on them, but like I said, it's just been soaked in oil. They were cheap, so I thought I'm going to go ahead and order a shoe kit. I was really hoping they were going to be here today. I just went out and checked the mail and they're not. So I think what I'm going to do is try and get as far as I can today as far as putting this back together, because I really need to get this to where it's running and driving. I think driving it is going to help me kind of fine tune that carb and get it dialed in. And I've got a trip coming up in pretty much a week. Yeah, pretty much. Today's Saturday and I'm going to leave on a Monday. So basically 10 days from now, I've got a trip that I'm leaving on. No, I'm going to leave on a Sunday, so 8 days. Basically 8 days from now, I've got a trip that I'm leaving on, and I want to take the Land Cruiser. It's going to be a really cool trip, kind of a trip down memory lane. Some of the places that I went to with my dad in this vehicle. Gosh, I don't know, 20, 30, probably not quite 30 years. Well, man, I'm old. Oh, it could be 30 years ago that we took this and went on those trips together. So anyways, I want to get that figured out and be able to take this on that trip. So today's just going to be a lot of kind of scrubbing parts, getting stuff cleaned up. I'm going to check the output shaft and just see if maybe that got tweaked or something. I really don't think it did. But I'm just going to check it and make sure, because I don't know what would cause that sudden oil leak like it did. And see if I can't get a lot of that cleaned up, put back together, get the RTV a chance to seal up, you know, and set up really good before I put oil in it. So that hopefully when those brake shoes do come, it's just a matter of throwing them in, finish putting on some bolts, and then we're good to go. So honestly, we'll just kind of see how it goes. If things are going really smooth, I might just put it back together as is and go back in at a later time and put those shoes on. But we're just going to hit it and see what happens today, see how far we get. I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to be in a hurry. I've got quite a bit of time, and there's only a little bit to do. Oh, I've also got a new valve cover gasket that I think I'm going to try and put on too, if that fits. And yeah, so I'm going to hit it and we'll take it from there. I think I'm calling it a day at this point. Got the valve cover on. I think I've got a good seal on that. I got the seal case put in and installed. I think I got a good seal on that. What else? Speedo gears in. That's all lined up. Speedometer cable's hooked up. Biggest thing is I got these two components cleaned up really good, and all kind of the hardware for that. So the brake pads, brake shoes did not arrive, and Monday's a holiday, so I'm not going to get them until maybe Tuesday. I can't find any tracking on them either. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some gear oil tonight. I've got to run in for search and rescue training with Toner. So I think I'm going to get some gear oil tonight, and probably Monday I'm just going to go ahead and put this back together so I can start driving it. It got good material on these shoes, so I think they're in good shape. My biggest concern was that they were just soaked with oil and wouldn't be any good, but for a parking brake they might be just fine. So anyways, I'm going to plan to put it back together so that I can drive it and just start working out some of the kinks, yeah, basically just feel better about being prepared for that trip. And when those shoes do arrive, it won't be too big of a deal to get that far back in to replace those. So I'm not too worried about having to go back in and redo those. So anyways, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll wrap this up probably on Monday and drive it around. And then the next thing you'll see after that is that epic trip up to the North Rim. I'm super excited about that. It's going to be some beautiful scenery, some fun trailing. Nate, you've seen him before. He's going to come with me on it, so should be a good time. All right, it is a Monday morning. I think it's still morning. I was out working on weeds. Yeah, it's still morning. It's Monday morning, and I'm here in the shop. I ran into some small town problems, and that is that the parts store closed early on Saturdays, which is kind of confusing to me, seeing as that's when everybody's working on their projects. Parts stores closed early on Saturdays, and I couldn't get any gear oil. They're closed on Sundays, and then today's a holiday, so they're closed today as well. I think I've got just enough in these two bottles here that I might be able to get enough in the case to where I can get this out and drive it. I didn't completely drain the case. I just took that cap off the end. So there's going to be some in there already. And I think between those two, I've probably got enough to get it, to put oil in it and be able to run it and drive it, which I really need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and finish putting this back together. I got the valve cover gasket figured out. I've got these, the emergency brake parts all cleaned. They're ready to go back in. I'm not going to get those brake pads today, but I think these ones are going to be okay to do what I need to for now, and it'll be easy to get back in there and replace them in the future. So that's the plan. It's just going to be starting to put bolts back together, put some oil in it, start it up, and take it for a drive. Okay, I'm not sure exactly where you got cut off, where the battery died. I ended up in a pretty frustrating situation, and I lose focus on filming when I get in those situations a lot, because I don't want to make a fool of myself when I throw little hissy fits because I'm getting frustrated, but also because I'm just trying to figure it out and get it done. I have today off, and so I wanted to get this figured out and done so that I could just kind of run it through the rest of the week, work out any, little fine tuning I needed to do, but have the confidence that it's done and ready to go, kind of a deal. So let me show you what I got frustrated with. That right there. I don't know if you could see that, but that is a socket that has been hammered on the end of a bolt, which has been welded onto the fill nut. And man, that thing was cranked down tight. I could not get it off. The transmission fill plug wasn't as bad. It was pretty tight. but that transfer case one I just could not get off, and pretty soon that turned to rounding off nuts, and I tried heat and vice grips and all sorts of stuff, and it just wasn't working. I've had success with tacking a nut on, and so that's what I did again. I am going to leave the socket on there for now because I'm going to need to get back in there pretty soon. I think I'm going to just drain the fluid and refill it once before I go. I don't know if I ended up with any gasket maker material or anything like that in there. And I just want to look at the fluid too, that's drained out versus something that's dripping out, and just kind of see how everything looks. So yeah, for now I'm just going to leave that on, order a new fill plug, and replace that before I head off on my trip. So anyways, I'm thrilled with how everything else went. You can see this is all clean. Everything's looking pretty good, and I have already test drove this. By the time I realized the battery's dead, I was ready to go for a drive, so I already took it for a test drive. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. It's running really good. The carburetor still has a little bit of a flat stop. Just when you barely first get on the throttle, there's a little bit of a flat spot there, but I think I can kind of fine-tune that and play with that a little bit more. But other than that, it's running good. It revs up good, pulls through the gears good. I'm really excited about that. You can see there aren't any drips, so I think the seal is holding up good. I've only put maybe 10 miles on it. I haven't done much, just enough to kind of get things hot and moved around and that kind of a stuff. But everything's looking and feeling pretty good on that, and I'm super pleased about that right there. Yep, I've got a parking brake back. I'm really excited about that. I got under there and adjusted it, and it's holding good. I went ahead and put it on a hill, and it's holding on a hill. I do think new brake pads will be even better, because like I said, those ones are just really oil soaked and not in great condition, but it's working. It's better than it was. Everything is better than it was, and so that's bonus. So I'm excited about it. I did take a break and went mountain biking with my son real quick. So it sounds like they all kind of meet back together, so you can choose which one you want to take. You want to go on the same one he is? Okay, let's do it. Good job, buddy. Way to use the brakes. Oh, nice skid. Yeah. Some of these rocks are kind of big for your tires, huh? Good job. Yep, just use your brakes. You're doing good. On some of the new trails that are out by our house, that was a ton of fun. And now we're going to go down to a creek and play in the creek, and then stop at a neighbor's house that's got a bunch of fruit trees, and we're going to pick a bunch of fruit and have some fun there too. So I wanted to make sure that I got that stuff in today too, since it's a holiday and they're out of school. Family's important, so I wanted to make sure I spent some time with them. But I am thrilled that this is running. I'm going to drive it to work, drive it as much as I can over the next few days, and just monitor everything, and just so that I've got the confidence, and when it's time to hit the road, we're good to go. Oh, also, I need to take it in and get the rooftop tent. I need to move that over from the trailer, so that I've got that for the trip too. That's what I'm going to be sleeping out of. So anyways, I'm excited. That's the update on it. Sorry you weren't able to watch all of it and see how that all worked out. But like I said, everything was pretty straightforward, other than that dang fill nut. That was really frustrating and really irritating. But I got it out and got it filled with some oil. I had just enough with what was sitting on the shelf, and everything's in good shape. So I'll keep you updated if anything changes. Otherwise, probably the next thing you'll see is hitting the road and headed up to the North Rim for some beautiful viewpoints, some great camping with some good company, and just some backcountry roads. Should be a really good time. I'm really looking forward to it.